Okay guys, so we'll start with the spherical mirror. Now we've already done, for the 9th graders, you've already done this chapter in the 8th standard. So exactly the same thing is carried forward in the 9th standard. And for those who are in the 8th standard, for you also again it's very important because the same thing is carried forward in the 9th standard. Guys, in this part mainly there are a few definitions are there. Then you have mainly the ray diagrams in this chapter. Some 7-8 ray diagrams are there, and then you've got some applications of this spherical mirror. So you can say it's more about the ray diagrams, more about the drawings. So you need to learn to draw well in this chapter. So let's start. First, let's discuss about what are the spherical mirrors now. So guys, basically, as the name suggests, spherical mirrors are what? When you make a mirror out of a sphere, then it is called as a spherical mirror. Or we can say when the reflecting surface is a part of a sphere, then they are called as mirror. Now out here, say we have taken a hollow glass sphere, okay, which was transparent, and now we'll cut two pieces out of it. So say we cut one part out here, and you cut one more part. So say I've cut one part out here, and there is another part out here. Now, whether it's a concave mirror or convex mirror, what kind of mirror it is, that depends upon the silvering. How do you silver? So, for example, if I'm silvering this mirror from outside, okay, if you're silvering, polishing it from outside, then this mirror is called as a concave mirror. Okay, so when you're silvering it from outside, it's called as a concave mirror. But when you silver it from inside, if you silver it from inside, then it is called as what? Convex mirror. Now, concave mirror is the one which is basically a converging mirror, meaning what? It will converge the light rays. So it is also called as a converging mirror. Whereas convex mirror is called as what? A diverging mirror. Why diverging mirror? Because it can diverge the light rays. So it is called as a diverging mirror. Now this point is the center of the sphere. Now the center of the sphere is also called as what? Center of curvature. Now what do you mean by center of curvature? So center of curvature is the center of the sphere, okay, of which the spherical mirror is a part of. Okay, let's say for example, I had one curvature like this here. Okay, say there was some curvature here. Let's say you've got a mirror. Now this mirror which I have over here is actually a part of some sphere, right? So I'm just drawing a rough sketch here. Let's say this is a part of this sphere. So it's a very untidy diagram. So it's a part of this sphere. Now the center of this sphere which is formed so is called as what? Center of curvature. So center of curvature is the center of the sphere of which the spherical mirror is a part of. Okay, then now, so there are few terms. So one of them is what? C. So you need to know what do you mean by center of curvature. Center of curvature. So they can ask you for definition. Define the center of curvature. Then the next term is the pole. Okay, what do you mean by pole now? So pole means what? Pole is the geometric center of the mirror. So this will be the geometric center. Got it? Here is the geometric center. So pole is the geometric center of the mirror. Meaning what? For example, if this is your mirror, so then this will become your geometric center. But now notice, if your mirror was say only this much, will your geometric center still stay over there only? No. What will happen to your geometric center now? It must have shifted here. So as the name suggests, pole is the geometric center of the mirror. Okay. So let's say this point is what now? Pole. Got it? So that's what we got the pole. Now the next line is the principal axis. What do you mean by principal axis now? It's an imaginary line which is passing through the C and P. So an imaginary line which is passing through center of curvature and pole is called as what? Principal axis. So this line is called as principal axis. Okay. Now next thing, so they may ask you to define principal axis also. So it's a straight line which is joining the pole of the mirror to the center of curvature. Then next thing is, what do you mean by the radius of curvature? So now what is the radius of curvature? So radius of curvature is the radius of the sphere. Okay, radius of curvature is the radius of the sphere. So you start from center and you can take any point on the circumference, anywhere on the circumference. That would mean what? Radius of curvature. So out here, this is the radius of curvature from center to the circumference, any point on the circumference. So radius of a sphere of which a spherical mirror is a part is called as what? The radius of the center of curvature. If you learn one or two definitions, then you'll get most of them because the wording is kind of the same only for all of them. Is it clear? So, and the last term is called as a aperture now. Now, what do you mean by aperture? So, aperture is defined as what? The part of the mirror. Okay, the part or the area of the mirror which is open for the reflection of light, or when the light rays will fall on them, they will be able to reflect the light, is called as a aperture. So let's say for example, this is your mirror, okay, and the light falls on this hole of this mirror, and now what will happen? The light rays will get reflected from here. But what if some part of this mirror, okay, what if some part of this mirror was covered? Okay, so I have covered some part of mirror with a paint or something. Then what will happen? Look at the aperture. The size of aperture will become smaller. So basically only that part of the mirror which is open for the reflection of light, okay, or which can reflect light is called as what? Aperture. Okay. Yeah. So these are all the terms and all which you need to know. And now we need to start with the ray diagrams. Just one more very important thing. Remember that even the spherical mirrors, just like the plane mirrors, spherical mirrors also obey laws of reflection. So here also, every time the light is reflecting, your angle of incidence is also equal to angle of reflection. Okay, now guys, it was very easy for us to draw the normal there, right, in case of a plane mirror, but here drawing a normal is going to be a little difficult. I'll show you then how to draw the normal. Before that, we will just there are two more terms which we need to discuss, which are also very important. That is called as the focus and the focal length. Okay, so first let's discuss about the focus. Now, the focus is different for different mirror, meaning a concave mirror and a convex mirror. They both will have a different type of a focus. Now, what is the difference in this focus? So let's say if you have light rays which are coming parallel to the principal axis. So let's say out here we have got light rays which are coming parallel to the principal axis. Now if there are light rays which come to parallel to principal axis, then after reflection, all these light rays, they will come and meet at one point. And that one point where they all meet, that point is called as what? Focus. So see, this is your incident ray, reflected ray, incident ray, reflected ray, and this point is called as what? F, means what? Focus. So what is focus? It is a point on the principal axis where the incident light rays which are parallel after reflection will meet at a point, and that point is called as what? Focus. Is it clear? Same way, if there are light rays which are coming parallel to principal axis here, then what will happen? This will also get reflected back. But see now, how does this get reflected back? Say this one has got reflected back like this, and the other light ray also got reflected back like this. So if you notice, first thing, that the light rays are reflecting back in a diverging position. You can see light rays are diverging. They are moving away from each other while coming back. But if I produce these light rays backwards, they will come and meet at one point, and that point where they meet is called as what? Focus. So this is called as a virtual focus. Why virtual focus? Because you can see the light rays are just appearing to meet. Whereas you can see the other F, that is called as what? A real focus. Why real focus? Because the light rays will actually meet over there. Okay. So I hope you got this term focus. It's very important, a little difficult, but you will have to learn it by heart exactly from the textbook how it's given. And the last term now, so you'll have to remember, you have to learn focus for a concave mirror and for a convex mirror. There are two different definitions for focus. And the last term that we are doing is called as focal length. As you can make out, focal and length. So what do you mean by focal length? So what is focal length? Focal length is the distance from the focus to the pole. That is called as what? Focal length. The distance from focus to pole is called as focal length. Got it? So these are all the terms you need to know. Also, the symbol for focal length is F. Symbol for focus is capital F. Radius of curvature, capital R. Here capital P and here capital C. We have no symbol for aperture or for principal axis. Okay. One more interesting thing now. Remember that the focal length is always half of radius of curvature. We do not have any derivation, anything in the portion. Okay. You do not even have the numericals which are based on this spherical mirror. Clear? So guys, now after this we are going to do the ray diagrams now. Okay.